In the days before the Great Flood, in a time when mankind was still young, there lived a man named Enoch, the seventh patriarch from Adam. Born to Jared in an age of growing darkness, Enoch distinguished himself through his unwavering devotion to the Lord of Spirits. Unlike those around him who increasingly turned toward wickedness, Enoch walked in righteousness and truth. Living in the shadow of Mount Hermon, Enoch was a humble scribe and teacher, dedicating his days to preserving the wisdom of the ancients and instructing his children in the ways of righteousness. His reputation for wisdom and integrity spread throughout the settlements of early mankind, drawing both admirers and skeptics to seek his counsel. It was during this time of mounting corruption that the Lord of Spirits chose Enoch for a divine purpose. Through dreams and visions, heaven began to reveal its mysteries to this righteous man. Enoch was called to serve as a messenger between the divine and human realms, bearing witness to celestial secrets that would shape the destiny of mankind. This sacred task would transform Enoch from a simple scribe into a prophet of the Most High, entrusted with warnings and wisdom for both his generation and the ages to come. In those ancient days, Enoch witnessed a terrible rebellion that would forever change the course of human history. 200 angels, known as the Watchers or Grigori, who were appointed by heaven to guide and protect humanity, became enamored with the daughters of men. Their leader, Semyaza, harbored deep doubts about their planned transgression but ultimately succumbed to temptation. These Watchers descended upon Mount Hermon, binding themselves with a solemn oath. Each chose a woman for himself, an act that violated the sacred boundary between heaven and earth. Among their leaders were Azazel, who taught men the art of weaponry and warfare; Barachiel, who revealed the patterns of lightning; and Kokabel, who shared the mysteries of the constellations. The angels' transgression went beyond their forbidden unions. They began teaching humanity knowledge that heaven had deemed too dangerous for mortals: the art of metallurgy, the secrets of cosmetics, the practice of sorcery, and the reading of celestial signs. This sharing of divine mysteries disrupted the natural order that the Lord of Spirits had established. Enoch, through divine revelation, saw how these actions grieved the heavenly host. The archangels Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, and Uriel watched in dismay as their former brethren corrupted God's creation. They witnessed how this forbidden knowledge, combined with human ambition, led to increasing violence and depravity among mankind. The Watchers' rebellion represented more than mere disobedience. It was a fundamental betrayal of their sacred duty. Rather than protecting humanity, they had introduced elements of chaos that would threaten the very fabric of human society. The union between the Watchers and mortal women bore terrible fruit. Their offspring, known as the Nephilim, grew to become mighty ones upon the earth, possessed of extraordinary strength and an insatiable appetite. These beings, neither fully divine nor fully human, brought unprecedented chaos to the world their fathers had sworn to protect. As the Nephilim matured, they began to consume the labors of mankind, devouring the crops and livestock that sustained human communities. When these resources proved insufficient to satisfy their endless hunger, they turned upon humanity itself. Violence spread across the land as these powerful beings imposed their will upon the defenseless. The corruption spread beyond mere physical violence. The Nephilim introduced practices that degraded the moral fabric of human society. They taught men to fashion weapons of war, encouraged the pursuit of luxury and excess, and spread knowledge of forbidden arts that should have remained hidden. The earth itself began to cry out under the weight of their transgressions. Enoch witnessed how this corruption transformed human society. Communities that had once lived in relative peace now turned to warfare. The arts of healing gave way to the crafting of weapons. The pursuit of wisdom was abandoned in favor of sorcery and divination. Blood began to stain the ground as violence became commonplace. The Lord of Spirits revealed to Enoch how this situation grieved the heavenly host. The earth, once beautiful in its created order, had become a place of chaos and suffering. The very beings appointed to guide humanity had instead led them down paths of destruction, and their offspring had become agents of corruption rather than blessing. The Lord of Spirits spoke to his archangels concerning the corruption that had befallen the earth. To Uriel, he commanded the announcement of the coming flood that would cleanse the world of its wickedness. The archangel was sent to Noah, Enoch's great-grandson, with instructions for building the ark that would preserve the righteous through the coming judgment. To Raphael was given the task of binding Azazel in the desert of Dudale, casting him into darkness until the final day of judgment. Gabriel received the charge to turn the Nephilim against one another, ensuring their destruction through warfare. Michael was commanded to announce to Semyaza and his fellow watchers their punishment. They would be bound for 70 generations, forced to witness the destruction of their beloved children. Through Enoch, the Lord delivered his final verdict to the fallen watchers. You were created eternal and spiritual, yet you defiled yourselves with the blood of mortals. You have brought forth flesh and blood offspring, though this was never permitted. For this you shall have no peace. This judgment marked the end of an age and the beginning of a great cleansing that would reshape the world. In the first parable revealed to Enoch, the Lord of Spirits granted him a vision of the ultimate destiny awaiting both the righteous and the wicked. Enoch beheld a magnificent throne surrounded by light, where the Lord of Spirits sat in judgment. Before this throne stretched two paths, each leading to a different eternal destination. Upon the path of righteousness, Enoch witnessed the journey of those who had remained faithful to divine laws. These individuals walked in humility, showed mercy to others, and maintained their integrity even in times of tribulation. Their way was illuminated by a light that grew stronger as they proceeded, though their journey was often marked by hardship and persecution from those who opposed their righteous conduct. The path of the wicked, in contrast, appeared broad and easily traveled at its beginning. Those who walked this road pursued wealth without regard for justice, sought power through oppression, and turned away from the suffering of others. Yet as their journey continued, their path grew increasingly treacherous, leading them into deeper darkness. Enoch observed how the choices made in mortal life shaped these eternal destinations. The righteous, though they might suffer temporary hardship, would find their vindication in the presence of the Lord of Spirits. Their final dwelling place would be filled with light, and they would walk in the company of heavenly beings, their faces radiant with joy. The wicked, despite their temporary prosperity, would face a bitter awakening. Their wealth and power would prove worthless in the final judgment, and their dwelling place would be far from the light of the divine presence. They would come to understand too late the full consequences of their choices. In the second parable, Enoch beheld a vision that surpassed the first in both majesty and significance. Before him appeared the Son of Man, whose countenance shone with celestial radiance and whose presence commanded the attention of all creation. This figure, Enoch learned, had been known to the Lord of Spirits before the creation of the world, and would serve as the final arbiter of justice. The vision revealed a great assembly where all nations gathered before the throne. Kings and rulers who had wielded great power on earth stood alongside the common people, all awaiting judgment. The books of heaven were opened, revealing every deed, whether good or evil, that had been committed throughout history. Nothing remained hidden from the penetrating gaze of the Son of Man. Those who had oppressed the righteous trembled as their actions were brought to light. Earthly wealth and power offered no protection as their deeds were examined. The rulers who had persecuted the faithful now stood defenseless, their former authority stripped away. Many sought to hide from the brilliant light that emanated from the throne, but found no shelter from its revealing rays. In contrast, the righteous approached the throne with humble confidence. Those who had endured persecution for their faithfulness found themselves lifted up and honored. The Son of Man called them blessed and welcomed them into their eternal inheritance. Their patient endurance through tribulation was transformed into everlasting joy. Enoch witnessed how the Son of Man executed judgment with perfect justice and wisdom. No plea could alter the truth of what was written in the heavenly books. The powerful could not bribe their way to vindication, nor could the humble righteous be overlooked. Each person's true character and actions were fully revealed and judged accordingly. This judgment brought both comfort and warning. For the righteous, it promised the ultimate vindication of their faith and suffering. For the wicked, it served as a solemn warning that their current prosperity and power were temporary, and that a day of reckoning approached when all injustice would be addressed. In the third parable, Enoch received a vision of the ultimate restoration that would follow the final judgment. The Lord of Spirits revealed to him a transformed world where divine justice and peace would reign eternally. This kingdom would represent the fulfillment of all righteous hopes and the permanent establishment of divine order. Within this restored kingdom, Enoch witnessed the earth renewed to its original splendor. The corruption introduced by the fallen watchers was cleansed away, and the damage wrought by human sin was healed. Mountains flowed with pure waters, and valleys bloomed with abundant life. The very ground that had once cried out under the weight of injustice now produced bountifully. The righteous inhabitants of this kingdom dwelt in perfect communion with the Lord of Spirits. Their faces shone with divine light, reflecting the glory of their Creator. Those who had maintained their integrity through tribulation now walked in eternal peace. The wisdom they had pursued in life became fully realized in the presence of the divine. Most significantly, Enoch observed that in this kingdom, all sources of sorrow and corruption were permanently removed. The fallen watchers and their offspring no longer held any influence. The powers that had opposed righteousness were eternally banished. Death itself had no place in this restored creation. The Lord of Spirits revealed to Enoch that this kingdom would endure forever, unlike the temporary domains of earthly rulers. Its establishment would mark the final victory of divine justice over all forms of evil and corruption. This vision served as the ultimate encouragement for the righteous to maintain their faith through present trials. The Lord of Spirits granted Enoch profound insights into the ordained patterns of the heavenly bodies. Under the guidance of the angel Uriel, Enoch learned how these celestial movements marked the proper ordering of time and seasons according to divine wisdom. Through his visions, Enoch observed the sun's daily journey across the heavens. He witnessed how it emerged each morning through designated gates in the east, traveling its appointed path before descending through corresponding gates in the west. This pattern, established by divine decree, never varied from its course, demonstrating perfect obedience to its Creator's commands. The moon likewise followed its prescribed path, but with a rhythm distinct from the sun. Enoch noted how its appearance changed through regular phases, waxing and waning according to divine ordinance. These cycles served as faithful markers for the counting of months and the recognition of appointed times for worship and celebration. Enoch received understanding of how these celestial movements established the proper ordering of days, months, and seasons. The sun's path marked the transition between day and night, while the moon's phases designated the beginnings and endings of months. Together, they created a harmonious system that guided human activities and religious observances. This divine choreography stood in stark contrast to the disorder that had emerged on earth through human disobedience. While the heavenly bodies maintained their appointed courses without deviation, humanity had strayed far from their ordained path of righteousness. The faithful adherence of these celestial bodies to their Creator's commands served as both a rebuke to human rebellion and an example of proper submission to divine authority. Through divine revelation, Enoch was granted understanding of the sacred gates and pathways established in the heavens. The angel Uriel revealed to him how these celestial portals governed the movements of the heavenly bodies and the progression of seasons, all according to divine ordinance. The gates of heaven, as shown to Enoch, stood as majestic thresholds through which the divine order was maintained. Through these gates passed the winds that brought forth the seasons, the warming breezes of spring, the gentle winds of summer, the cooling drafts of autumn, and the fierce gales of winter. Each wind served its appointed purpose in sustaining the cycles of life upon the earth. Enoch observed how these gates also regulated the distribution of rain and dew across the earth's regions. Some gates released gentle rains that nourished crops and sustained life, while others held back waters during appointed times of dryness. This divine regulation ensured that each region received its proper measure of moisture according to the Lord's wisdom. These celestial pathways maintained perfect order throughout the year, dividing time into its proper seasons. Through them, the Lord of Spirits established the rhythm of planting and harvest, of summer heat and winter cold. Unlike the chaos that had emerged through human disobedience, these heavenly cycles remained faithful to their divine appointment. The angel explained to Enoch how these gates would continue their ordained function until the final day of judgment. Their steadfast operation served as a testament to divine faithfulness and as an example of perfect obedience to the Creator's will. The Lord of Spirits revealed to Enoch how the faithful angels maintained divine order throughout creation. Each angel held specific responsibilities in administering the natural world, serving as diligent stewards of the Creator's design. Uriel, the principal angel of heavenly bodies, oversaw the movements of sun and moon, ensuring their paths remained true to divine ordinance. Under his guidance, the celestial lights maintained their proper courses, marking times and seasons without deviation. Raphael supervised the spirits of mankind, attending to matters of human healing and well-being. His ministry extended to overseeing the proper succession of generations and the preservation of divine knowledge among the faithful. Gabriel held authority over matters of divine power and judgment, serving as heaven's mighty warrior against forces that would disrupt sacred order. His presence inspired reverence and awe among those who witnessed heaven's majesty. Michael, chief among the archangels, maintained overall supervision of creation's order. His authority extended throughout heaven and earth, ensuring all elements worked in harmony according to divine will. The Lord of Spirits granted Enoch a profound vision of the impending judgment that would cleanse the earth. This revelation began as Enoch rested in his dwelling, when suddenly the heavens opened before his spiritual eyes, showing him events that would transform the world. In this vision, Enoch witnessed the gathering of vast waters above the firmament. The Lord revealed how the corruption that had spread across the earth through the fallen watchers and their offspring had reached such magnitude that only a complete cleansing could restore divine order. The very ground that had absorbed the blood of violence cried out for justice. The Lord spoke to Enoch, explaining the purpose of this coming judgment. The flood would not merely punish wickedness, but would serve to cleanse and restore the earth to its intended state. However, amidst this declaration of judgment, the Lord also revealed his mercy. Through Noah, Enoch's great-grandson, a remnant of both humanity and the animal kingdom would be preserved. Enoch observed how the preparations for this judgment would unfold. Noah would receive divine instructions for building an ark, a vessel of preservation through which the Lord would maintain his covenant with creation. The specifications for this ark would be precise, designed by divine wisdom to withstand the waters of judgment. The vision showed Enoch how the floodwaters would rise, covering even the highest mountains. The corruption that had taken root through the watchers' transgression would be thoroughly cleansed. Yet the ark would ride safely upon these waters of judgment, carrying within it the seed of a new beginning. Most significantly, the Lord revealed to Enoch how this flood would serve as an eternal reminder of both divine judgment and mercy. Never again would the earth face such a complete cleansing. The waters would establish a new covenant between the Lord and all living creatures, marked by the sign of the rainbow in the clouds. Through this vision, Enoch understood that divine judgment, while severe, always served the greater purpose of restoration and renewal. The flood would mark not just an ending, but also a new beginning for creation under divine governance. In a remarkable vision, the Lord of Spirits revealed to Enoch the course of human history through symbolic representations of animals. This divine allegory began with the first humans, represented as pure white cattle, signifying their original state of innocence in the garden. The vision progressed to show how humanity's nature changed after the fall. The pure white cattle began to produce offspring of different colors, representing the diversification of human lineages and the emergence of varying spiritual conditions among them. Some maintained their original purity, while others strayed from divine guidance. Enoch witnessed the appearance of fallen angels, portrayed as stars descending from heaven. These stars interfered with the cattle, leading to the birth of elephants, camels, and other great beasts. symbolic representations of the Nephilim. These creatures brought destruction upon the earth, devouring other animals and spreading violence throughout creation. The great flood appeared in the vision as waters rising from the earth, sweeping away all but a select few animals safely preserved in a wooden structure. From this vessel emerged new cattle, led by a white bull representing Noah, from whom would spring the renewed human family. The vision continued through generations, showing the calling of Abraham as a white bull who produced a favored lamb. This lamb's descendants multiplied, representing the growth of God's chosen people. However, they faced constant threats from wolves, lions, and other predators, symbolizing the nations that opposed them. Throughout this historical panorama, Enoch observed how the Lord of Spirits continuously guided and protected the faithful, represented by sheep under divine shepherding. Though they often faced persecution and hardship, symbolized by attacks from predatory beasts, they maintained their distinct identity and purpose. The allegory concluded with a remarkable transformation. A great white bull with magnificent horns emerged, representing divine leadership that would gather all scattered sheep and transform them. Under this leadership, all faithful creatures would be changed into pure white cattle, signifying the final restoration of humanity to its original state of righteousness. Recognizing that his time of departure drew near, Enoch gathered his children to impart final wisdom and warnings. His words carried the weight of divine authority, shaped by the remarkable visions and revelations he had received from the Lord of Spirits. Enoch addressed his eldest son Methuselah first, saying, "My son, I have walked in righteousness all my days, maintaining integrity even when others chose paths of corruption. The Lord of Spirits has shown me what lies ahead, both the judgments that will come and the hope that remains for the faithful. Guard these words carefully, for they will guide you through difficult times." To all his children, Enoch emphasized the critical importance of maintaining righteousness in daily conduct. He explained how every action carries eternal significance, being recorded in the heavenly books. Those who pursue justice and show mercy, he taught, would find favor with the Lord of Spirits, while those who choose wickedness store up judgment for themselves. Enoch particularly warned his children about the subtle nature of corruption. "Watch carefully," he advised, "for evil rarely appears in its true form. It comes quietly, through small compromises and seemingly insignificant choices, yet each step away from righteousness leads further into darkness." He urged them to examine their hearts daily and maintain constant vigilance against spiritual decay. The patriarch concluded his counsel with words of hope, assuring his children that the Lord of Spirits would remain faithful to those who walk in his ways. Even in times of widespread corruption, divine protection would rest upon those who maintain their integrity and pursue justice. Through divine revelation, Enoch received understanding of human history divided into 10 distinct periods, each marking significant developments in the relationship between the Lord of Spirits and humanity. The first week commenced with creation and continued through the early generations of mankind. During this period, righteousness prevailed as humanity walked in closer communion with their Creator. Enoch himself lived during the latter portion of this week, witnessing both the remaining vestiges of original righteousness and the growing corruption that would necessitate divine judgment. The second week encompassed the Great Flood and its aftermath. This period demonstrated both divine judgment upon corruption and mercy toward the righteous through the preservation of Noah and his family. Following the flood, humanity received renewed opportunity to walk in divine ways. The third week marked the calling of Abraham and the establishment of a covenant people. The Lord of Spirits initiated a program of restoration through one faithful family, promising to bless all nations through their lineage. Subsequent weeks outlined the unfolding of divine purpose through various stages. The giving of divine law, the establishment of sacred worship, periods of both faithfulness and apostasy among the covenant people, and the progressive revelation of divine truth through appointed messengers. The final weeks pointed toward the ultimate fulfillment of divine purpose, the establishment of righteous judgment, the removal of evil, and the restoration of creation to its intended state. Enoch understood that this progression moved inexorably toward the complete vindication of divine justice and the eternal establishment of righteousness. In concluding his prophetic revelations, Enoch delivered final warnings and blessings that would resonate through generations. His words carried profound gravity, shaped by the divine insights granted to him through years of faithful service to the Lord of Spirits. Speaking with solemn authority, Enoch warned of the inevitable judgment awaiting those who persist in wickedness. He emphasized that no earthly power or wealth could shield anyone from divine justice. Those who oppress the righteous and corrupt divine truth would face severe consequences for their actions. However, Enoch's final message also contained powerful blessings for those who maintain faithfulness. He assured the righteous that their patient endurance would not go unnoticed by the Lord of Spirits. Though they might face temporary hardship, their ultimate vindication was assured in the divine plan. Enoch concluded by emphasizing the eternal nature of these truths. The patterns of divine justice and mercy he had witnessed would continue unchanging through all generations. His words would stand as a testimony to both warn the wayward and encourage the faithful until the final establishment of divine righteousness. Enoch received a profound revelation concerning the birth of his great-grandson Noah, an event that would mark a pivotal moment in divine purpose. His son Methuselah approached him with news that Lamech had fathered a remarkable child. Upon hearing the description of the infant Noah, Enoch recognized divine significance in his appearance. The child possessed an extraordinary countenance that reflected divine purpose, distinguishing him from all others of his generation. This physical manifestation served as a sign of his appointed role in the divine plan. Enoch explained to Methuselah that Noah's birth represented hope amid growing corruption. Through prophetic insight, he revealed that this child would become instrumental in preserving righteousness during a time of divine judgment. Noah would serve as a vessel of divine mercy, ensuring the continuation of both human and animal life through the coming deluge. The Lord of Spirits confirmed to Enoch that Noah would maintain integrity in an age of widespread corruption. Through him, divine purpose would continue despite the judgment that would befall the earth. This revelation brought comfort to Enoch's family, assuring them of continued divine guidance through coming generations. In his concluding days of prophetic service, the Lord of Spirits granted Enoch final revelations concerning the ultimate fulfillment of divine purpose. These insights completed the pattern of understanding that had been progressively revealed throughout his ministry. The Lord showed Enoch how all previous revelations converged toward a final demonstration of divine justice and mercy. Every element of truth he had received, the fate of the watchers, the destiny of the righteous, the purpose of divine judgment, found its completion in this culminating vision. Through divine illumination, Enoch understood how the Lord of Spirits would ultimately vindicate those who maintained faithfulness through generations of trial. He witnessed the final triumph of divine purpose over all forms of corruption and opposition. This revelation assured him that the righteous path, though often difficult, would lead to eternal blessing. The Lord impressed upon Enoch the importance of preserving these revelations for future generations. Though times of darkness would come, these recorded truths would serve as beacons of hope and guidance for those seeking righteousness. They would stand as eternal testimony to divine faithfulness and the certainty of divine promises. As Enoch's earthly ministry drew to its completion, the Lord of Spirits prepared him for a transition unprecedented in human experience. Having walked in faithful communion with the divine throughout his life, Enoch would not taste death as other mortals did. Gathering his family one final time, Enoch entrusted to them the written records of his revelations. He solemnly charged them to preserve these truths and transmit them faithfully to future generations. His final words emphasized the supreme importance of maintaining righteousness regardless of surrounding corruption. The Lord of Spirits then summoned Enoch from among his people. Divine glory descended, and Enoch was taken into the presence of the heavenly host. Unlike all others before him, he passed directly from earthly existence into eternal communion with the divine, without experiencing death. This extraordinary departure served as testimony to the reality of divine promises. Enoch's translation demonstrated the ultimate destiny awaiting those who maintain faithful devotion to the Lord of Spirits. His life and departure established a pattern of righteousness that would inspire faithful ones through all subsequent generations. Thank you for joining us on this profound journey through the Book of Enoch. Your engagement with this content means a great deal to our team, who work diligently to bring these ancient texts to life. We invite you to share your thoughts and reflections in the comments below. What aspects of Enoch's revelations resonated most deeply with you? If you found value in this exploration, please consider subscribing to our channel. Your subscription enables us to continue producing thoughtful content that examines these significant historical and spiritual texts. Share this video with friends and family who might appreciate these insights into ancient wisdom. We strive to maintain high standards in our research and presentation. Your support through likes and shares helps us reach a broader audience interested in these meaningful discussions. Every engagement contributes to building this community of seekers and learners. Visit our channel for more content exploring sacred texts and spiritual wisdom through the ages.